Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, people. This is Spirit Journey, and today is Sunday. Beautiful Sunday. It's cool outside, but it's going to be a scorcher later on, so I might just stay in. It's going to be up to 88 degrees. Right now, it's like in the 60s, low 60s. Yes, today is September 3rd, 2023, and I have to correct the date. I put the September 4th, but it's September 3rd, and it's about 7:46 in the morning. Yes, good morning, good morning. Good morning, viewer. Thank you for coming on. Good morning. Ah, I feel a little, I hope the sound is okay. Um, I feel a little downcast this morning. I want to share again. I share from the heart, good or bad. Um, what's happening? This is going to be about my thoughts about Maui. I've done several videos on Maui, the island I used to live on many years ago. I was there. Excuse me. I was there for almost 3 years, and what a roller coaster it was. It was bittersweet. I met many people, good and bad. And I think there's a tragedy that happened in Maui with the fires there. It kind of shaking me inside, stirring me. It's like all the things that happened to me kind of like came forward and agitated me. It's bittersweet. I had some good times there and some things that I had wanted to forget. Sometimes things like this happen. uh, you might have thought you moved on, and then something happens, and it's like shakes up a hornet's nest. And I'm candid with my videos, and I want to share with you my thoughts on uh, an event. Someone who I don't know the person, but a person that I've been watching some of his videos. Um, his channel name is Hawaii Real Estate or Hawaiian Real Estate. He is a haole, the terms that people use for people like him. He's a white fellow from the mainland. He looks middle aged. He has uh, teenagers for children, you know. Um, and yeah, I watched a lot of his videos. And I want to be up front how I feel. Again, I don't know him. I know of him because I watched some of his videos. I was watching a lot of them, and then I kind of slowed down. Um, yeah, his name is Eric, and I was just watching his latest video that just got posted maybe 5 hours ago, and I watched it, and I watched it at least 2 times, and I feel kind of grieved. I feel grieved about what he was talking about. Because it's like, again, I don't know him. Um, he shared from the heart what is happening. Again, he's a howly guy, and he went out and shared on his motorcycle or whatever uh, his vehicle, and showed candid shots of the destroyed town of Lahaina, where I used to live many, many, many years ago. I like Lahaina. Um, and some of the things that he did, I guess maybe because he's what he is, that he's not a so-called local. I mean, he lived there about 13 years, and he had young kids that went to school there and all that. Um, yeah, I'm being honest. I don't want to really sugarcoat anything. To be honest, that part of my own bias. Um, but he seemed to be successful at sharing on his own time um, what's going on in Hawaii, and he's interviewed several people, several families, and he posted it, and he had the people, if any of them had contact information. Sorry, fire. Sorry, yeah, we have fire trucks here in New York City. Just want to let it go past. I'm sorry if you heard that. Yeah, we have a lot of fire trucks here, and they're always going off. Apologize. Uh-oh. Okay, it's passing. My apology. Yeah, that happens all the time in New York City. Okay. Um, so he interviewed a lot of people, and he had the people, if they had like something that you could like if they had an account like a PayPal, something like that, a money account that people could directly donate to them, which is fair. They live there. They're homeless now, jobless. Um, it's a horrible feeling when you don't have money and you don't have a home. I lived there in Maui, and it was very hard. Uh, Employment was extremely difficult. Housing was even harder, it seemed. And yes, I was in the homeless shelter there. I had a lot of shame. I felt shame, but there were a lot of other people there. Um, yeah, it was an experience. I was there in that shelter system for 11 months. It was a special program, a 2-year program. And I only did the 11 months. I really wanted to get my own place. Yeah, I just felt I want to be upfront. Yeah. It was a roller coaster ride in Maui. uh, there are people who are very loving, but at the same time, very problematic. And they're true colors. And and I think I'm doing this video because again, I don't know this person, Eric from the channel Hawaii Real Estate, but I just want to share what I feel about his situation. Now, he seems like a very smart man, and he shared his background in this latest video. Yeah, he went to college in the mainland, and he has a lot of smarts. Um, And so he shared his initiative, because I think he said he was an Eagle Scout. That's like, I think that's like the Boy Scouts. So he's resourceful, and he takes action in a type A type, alpha male type. He doesn't wait for things to come his way. He goes for it, and I could respect that. But I think what happened, what it looks like what happened to him, that he was getting too popular on YouTube, uh, being an outsider slash Howley, and people got jealous of him. Um, and he shared in this latest video. He raised almost $1 million. That's a lot of money. $1 million, and he has to distribute the money to the people. Now, I don't know whether his adversaries, yes, good morning, viewer. I don't know whether his adversaries knew about the $1 million raised, but at least in this last video that I heard from him, that's what he disclosed. And he has to distribute it quickly because accountability of, the tax repercussions, excuse me, of 30% of whatever what you have. And what happened? Well, he claimed that he was getting death threats to him and his family. He looked very sad. In the video, he's sitting in front of like a type of motorcycle. He's indoors or something, and he's sitting down and he's filming on his camera, I guess. He looks sad, downsided, and he's sharing what's happening to him. Um, yeah, he said he's being threatened and that it might be his last recording, and he's fed up, and he was getting the threats, and he lost his job. He's a real estate agent. Yes, hello again, viewer. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, he's a real estate agent. Again, I don't know him, never talked to him, never did business with him, but I did respond to some of his videos. I said what I said, but I'm just responding. I just feel my heart feels heavy. This whole drama with Hawaii. Um, Up front, what I say, people are being devoured. That's what I put in the description. People are being devoured. I feel when I was there, I was devoured. And I see him being devoured. Whether he deserves it or not, I don't know. Some things I am concerned with his videos. Uh, but people are being devoured. And I think that aspect of being devoured, like hyenas, like the government, people are being devoured. Whether they're true or not true, people are being devoured. And I feel it's an angle that I see not as manifesting on humanity. People are devouring one another. Now again, I don't know what this man's angle. I personally don't know him. Never spoke to him. But I know what it's like to be thrown down spiritually, and. Um, yeah, he's a Howley guy, successful, and he got fired. He's a real estate agent. I thought he owned his own company. That it was an assumption, but no, he works for a real estate agent. He gave the name of the agent of the company that he works for, and he is getting fired. And his son, he had a 19-year-old son who graduated from high school there in Hawaii, and he too just got laid off from the company. I think the company is I guess the individual Eric, the guy's name is Eric, and he shared that with the money that he received and he has to distribute. He said that he had his own personal account that he shared money to from his own personal account to people there. And I think the company that he works for, the real estate agency that he works for, and maybe they got wind of the emails he was getting, that liability there is liability, and they want to distance themselves from him because it's a small island and word gets around. Yes, good morning, viewer. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the encouragement. Um, Again, I used to live in Maui, and I experienced the wrath of Maui upon my life when I was there, and I'm sensitive about Maui. It's bittersweet. I have a bittersweet attitude and that I shared openly in my past few videos. So I think the company that he worked for, the real estate agency that he worked for, want to distance themselves from him because the implications of money. They don't want to be associated with the idea of money laundering. I'm speculating, or how it might look. But again, he's a private citizen, this real estate agent by the name of Eric. He's an individual, just like everybody else is an individual. And somehow, the company he works for found out, or maybe they emailed the company, the boss. It's a small island. Everybody knows everybody, and it's highly competitive. Maui, despite its aloha spirit, hey, hey, thank you, girl. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I just got the pop up. But yeah, they they now the fire now it's one I think exactly 1 month, 4 weeks today. 4 weeks today. I think it's 4 weeks today or 5 weeks maximum that this tragedy happened. So after 5 weeks of this individual going out on his own time, again, the fire affects everybody because maybe you still have a house, but income. You need income. You may have a house, but you need income. Let's say you had a job in Lahaina on Front Street. It's all burnt up. It's all pow, as they say in Hawaii. It's all pow, all finished. And it's toxic down there. The air is polluted. I saw a video that someone who lived there, their house got spared, but the authorities said they have to tear it down because it's toxic. The fumes and the mattress, everything. And they lived in like a development, an apartment or something. And so the whole complex has to be pulled down. So even though she survived the fire, it was a mother-daughter. They're from the mainland originally, a black family. They're still homeless because they can't physically live in it, and the system is going to pull down everything. So they were told to get their belongings, what they could carry, because everything's going to be demolished, everything. And I feel, wow, look at that. So yes, some houses got spared, but no, it's not spared because they're going to probably tear the whole thing down. You know, even though it's an island, no man is an island. Listen to this. No man or woman is an island unto itself. There is community, whether you get along with them or not. You're still part of a body. You're still part of a body. And what happened, because it's a whole region that got zapped, and they have to pull down everything and discard everything and start anew, even though it's still standing. Even though nothing burnt inside your house, it is so toxic. And that's what life is all about, that something can happen. And maybe you personally didn't get affected, but because of the proximity, hear that? Because of the proximity of where you lived, that you too would be pulled down the cesspool. And that's what I see what's happening with Maui. It is a cesspool of tragedy. And so here you have a man. I do not know. There were some concerns I did have about some of the things he showed, and I was upfront about it, and I commented, like he was on his motorcycle and with two minors, and they're going through Front Street and everything, and the I felt the little boys could. They were preteen. They looked like preteens, maybe 12 years old, and they're walking on the thing, the debris, and they could have fallen and get hurt. Again, it's very toxic. And when he mentioned it, he sees some T-shirts that didn't get um, damaged in the fire, and he said he was going to take it and auction it off to raise money. Now that's not his. If that was not his property, okay, he doesn't have the authority to sell it. It was on a business. It was right on the edge of like the business. Someone's business burnt down on Front Street, and he reached his hand on the ground. Then he's like on the sidewalk, and it's just right there. They were folded nicely, and they didn't get burned. And so I had a problem with that when he said that he'll auction it off or something. No, and I said exactly what I felt about. Hey, that's wrong. And again, I feel he wants to do good. Um, Sometimes when we want to do good, you're in the middle of chaos, and uh, you may do something, and you don't see what you're doing, but how it may look to others. How does it look like? And your heart could be pure. You could be doing from the heart. You didn't realize whatever, you know. So yeah, he's been going on, traveling throughout Lahaina on his motorcycle, um, videotaping. Um, I think it was good evidence because, like, let's say people who don't have vehicles and they want to know where their house, what happened to their home, they'll be able to know, hey, the status, because see, they have to put in a claim, if they have house insurance, and if they're able to, screenshot, is that what they call it? Make a copy of the screen, what's being showed about your property, and bring it to the insurance people, and so you can put a claim in. Hey, your house is rubble now, right? I thought in that aspect, I thought his service was good. He did it he did it from his heart. And again, he can't make money either because um, no one has money. Everybody's losing their property. I mean, people's houses got burned up, or let's say you have a business establishment. Let's say you work at a restaurant. The restaurant's destroyed. Okay, so where's the money coming from? You're left with nothing. You really have nothing. You have your life, but you have nothing, no money coming in. And I know what it's like to not have money come in living in Hawaii. When I lived there I arrived there um, in 1998. I had a plan, and it started off very well, and then whammo. In 1 week, I lost 2 jobs right after the holidays in January. First week of January, the first 7 days of January, I lost 2 jobs. I was frantic. And I had the job on the first one on Front Street. Then I got the second job to supplement my income uh, at another location, and had a quiet bills, bills, bills. So I know how the people there must feel. One lemon, I bought a lemon once. Yeah, ironically, it's a lemon. I bought a lemon there once, and it cost 75 cents, and that's over 20 years ago. Just imagine now how much one lemon in Maui must cost, especially now after the fire. See, a natural disaster, or I believe what happened in Maui was man made. It was a man, with the evidence that was showed, it was a man made and deliberate to ethnic cleansing. Yeah, I use these terms, being a black woman, ethnic cleansing upon the residents of Hawaii. Yeah, prime real estate. And the system there is very corrupt. It's a very, very corrupt system. The island of Maui, where I lived. I lived right on, right in the heart of town, right near the banyan tree. I lived on Luakini Street, right off Prison Street. The whole thing. I shared you the video. It got zapped. That house that I lived in, I rented a room in the house. Rubble. It's all like gray ash now. And the jobs that I worked on Front Street, all zapped to white ash. I shared that on the video, the Google Earth. On Google Earth, I showed it. I said, oh my God. So it's like I take it personal because I like the town of Lahaina. I liked it. I was able to walk to work, takes like 20, 25 minutes to walk to work at that time and walk back, and then I needed a second job. Yeah, you have to hustle when you're in Hawaii. And yeah, it wasn't the paradise I thought it would be, you know. So here this man I was talking about, this YouTuber who's a real estate agent, and what they call a haole, that means white person. And yeah, um, he seemed successful. You know, I mean, again, he doesn't have any money coming in really. You know, you only could make money if you sell a real estate, right? But no, but not everything's gone. And he wasn't the owner of the business, and he got fired. They fired him, and they fired his son. And I'm something is telling me, I'm speculating that what happened, that with the money coming in, someone had on one of those social media accounts had said some negative things about him, uh, that about him being, an outsider and collecting money, and they were hating on him and threatened his family to kill his family. I said, whoa, that's serious. Yeah, he looked like he was on the verge of tears. I don't know what to make out of it. But my heart is heavy in relaying this story. Again, Maui is bittersweet. It's a bittersweet island. My experiences about it, and I'm just sharing again what's happening to this other fellow. Yeah, I think the company that he works for, I'm speculating that they were notified about the guy. And Hawaii is a very intimate community. It's very political. And they were instructed to let him go as a means of, again, I'm sure he's not making money now from the real estate company. No one's making money in real estate right now. But that is a concern with some people. Some people were being some residences were being notified and say, "Hey, I'll buy your house, pennies on the dollar." Yep, that's what's happening there in Maui. You have opportunists. You have the wolves out there. You have wolves out there who want to ravage the victims of that. Okay, your house is destroyed, and hey, but you got the land, and they want to buy it for cheap. Or let's say you got a house, but you can't pay the mortgage on it because no job. Everyone gets affected, and you have wolves that want to take advantage. And so I think this individual, this real estate agent that has this YouTube channel that I'm uh, addressing here, yeah, he got released from his job. Um, Again, he seems like an alpha male. That he's not going to wait for things to, he's not going to wait for someone to help. He's a self starter, and unfortunately, he said, he he's may have to call it quits, and he has to distribute the money. Yeah, he raised $1 million. He said close to $1 million. And it's something. Well, I want to talk about this because you hear over the internet in general, you have people who open up accounts and, fund me accounts or this account, that account, you know, maybe they have an operation to do, all these things that we've heard over the years, people raising money. But what happens when you raise money for a cause? One thing, you're raising money for yourself, but what if you're raising money for a community? One thing in Hawaii, people are, it's a small place. Maui is a small island, and it's not really heavily populated. And so there is a sense of community because it's so small. People know one another, and he knows how to you know because he's from the mainland. So he has some smarts. He knows how to start things. So he, in his power, wants to help out. And in his savviness, he was able to raise money. How do you get, when you raise money, how do you get rid of it? How do you actually distribute it? And I try to write something on the channel just before I did this live stream. And when I typed in, all of a sudden a glitch happened and it deleted everything from it. I don't know what happened. But what I'm thinking is this. Again, I am not a financial planner. I don't know. I am not a financial person at all. I'm as green could be. But I was just brainstorming. What if, I mean, he has to get rid of the money quickly, he said. So I was just thinking on top of my head, he would have to have proof that he's handing out the money. So I'm thinking a check. Issue out the money in check. Don't give out cash because uh, cash, someone could say, "Oh, I never got it." It would have to be some proof of who he's giving because accountability, right? And I say this about anyone who has an account or to raise money on behalf of something else. Not just him, I'm just saying anybody in general. How do you distribute the money? Because you have people who are ragging on you, whether the allegations are true or false. The fact that someone is ragging on you and potentially you could be investigated by authorities, right? So you got close to $1 million. How do you distribute $1 million? Well, he did say he has to like try to do large sums. He thought about uh, giving it to churches and then have the people in the church to distribute the money, blah, blah, blah. But we know, and by living in Hawaii, a lot of the churches are corrupt. You have those naming and claiming churches who are just as greedy. Yeah, I visited churches there. I lived as a local when I was there. Went to many different churches, and they play their games, many of them. But either way, um, yeah, he could distribute it to the different churches, the major churches there, and have them, hoping that they'll distribute the money to family. But again, not everybody goes to church. So I said to myself, hey, go to, you could announce that you're going to go to a distribution, where you're going to distribute the money to families, and you have like the family heads, each household. Yeah, 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 Nubian. Yeah, the churches in the USA is the same way. Yeah, the U.S. mainland. Yeah, they could take the money. I don't trust the churches, especially those big, big churches. Oh, they're there in Hawaii. I visited them. The name it and claim it and plant the seed. Yep, yeah, they're planting a seed. They want you to plant the seed in their yard and get the money. Yeah, they're corrupt. I've seen it. I personally have seen some of these churches. The mega churches here in the U.S., they go and visit Hawaii, and they have like what you call a crusade, and the crusade really is, ching, get the money, get the money. Oh, we're going to pretend we're healing. I've seen so many things. I saw a lot of things in Hawaii, and I think Benny Hinn was there. Yeah, I saw Benny Hinn. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I used to live in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, and they do the same thing there. But anyways, um, how are you going to distribute $1 million before the tax man? Because I think he has a time limit when he has to release the money. Um, yeah, it's a hairy situation. He from the account he said that he put it in his son's account. The son is 19 years old. It really looks bad. It does look bad. Uh, so it's to hold the account. But now, it seems like he have to, from this fund account, and then he has to transfer it to somewhere else. So I'm thinking he should have been distributing the money. In hindsight, it's not. I'm not trying to slap him down, but I'm just thinking as an outsider, myself, me as an outsider looking in on the video, that not to wait until it got that high amount of money because you have to distribute that money. So to distribute it as it trickled in to the families, the money also, maybe to announce that you're going to uh, take, let's say, a week's time to distribute the money, uh, have them register when each family head to register, and that they meet, you know, uh, you know, set up a table and chair, and he has his checkbook and write them a check. See, checks are traceable. Checks are traceable. And you put on the check for the family of so and so, right? Something like that, I'm thinking. Maybe make a photocopy of their driver's license, whatever. Something to prove that you're giving the money away, and by check, because checks are traceable. Do not give out cash. I mean, if you have your own personal cash or you want to give somebody, that's your business. But when it's an organization on behalf of a cause, you need it traceable because uh, they can screw you there in Hawaii. Um, I think also what happened, yeah, so they can have that in each family, you know, and distribute it that way. Once all the money's out, what they call POW, is out of his hands. And the people uh, got the money, and then they have to worry about that money because, see, they have to pay taxes too. You receive money, oh, you got to pay taxes on it. Yeah, he feels screwed because he said that he did this from the heart, and he's being ragged on. Um, I think what happened also, like, this is this expression. I think it's a Japanese thing that the person that has the head sticking up the farthest gets hit first. So here he's a haole. His head was sticking up high, and jealousy, and so they are uh, slandering him, or saying bad things about him. Again, I don't know him. I don't know whether the allegations are true or whatever. What I don't know. I don't know him. But some of the things, that he could have utilized a little bit more wisdom with certain things. But he's just an individual. He's just trying to help out. So I think that was one of the things that happened. That he's a white guy, an outsider, and people didn't like his success on YouTube. He was raising money. I think also the people who he interviewed, many of the people were, at least looked like Caucasians. And that, I think, bothered people. People say, hey, what about the people of color? Yeah, he did interview people of color. But I think how it looked, him being an out, he lived on the island for at least 13 years. But him being originally a white outsider from the USA, the mainland, and not have so-called local people of color. So I think if you're going to raise money on behalf of somebody else, make sure that the people that you are interviewing are the people who are perceived as being true local people. Because people don't like the feeling of being left out. But people are always going to feel left out because people always want money. I think the other thing that hurt him is that he was sharing a lot of information from eyewitnesses. And I think the eyewitnesses were exposing that the fires there in Maui are were suspicious. And I agree. In my opinion, I think what happened in Hawaii was man-made, that it was planned ahead of time, in my opinion. They want to take the real estate on Lahaina and develop into those, what you call those smart cities, the 15-minute cities. There was a law that was passed in January. The governor just came into office January, and he put on the books in January of this year, 2023, that if something like a natural disaster occurs, that the government could confiscate the property. Hear that? It's just so many coincidentals, and I don't think it's coincidental. I think it's all planned. It's a lot of politics. And again, a lot of the people that seem to be behind this whole fire thing were people who were newly appointed less than a year and in positions of power. And many of them are what you call haoles. They do have a Hawaiian mayor, but what good did that come out of it? You have some so-called indigenous people who are just as corrupt as the people from the mainland. Just because someone is of your color or your race or your nationality does not make them your friend. It does not make them your friend. And you can clearly see this in this fire. And I think that this guy, this real estate agent by the name of Eric, I think he was getting too deep in the investigation of what really was going on in Maui. And he's popular now. He's grown in popularity. He has a large channel, 200,000 subscribers. So he has a lot of influence. And this system there in Hawaii, uh, my speculation is that they didn't like it, and it was getting into the truth on what really was going on, because he interviewed um, eyewitnesses, the victims of the fire, and they wanted to shut him up. That is my instinct, that they wanted to shut him up, and so they had an account on these social medias, and they started saying bad things about him, and got him fired from his job, he and his son. I think, in a nutshell, that's what happened. That is what happened. That's what I think what happened to him. And again, I don't know. I don't know the man's heart. Um, but I feel his pain. I feel it. Listening to him, I feel my heart aches about the hyenas that are out there. You got hyenas out there who want to pull down anybody. Uh, the, a criticism that I do have regarding the so-called locals, the so-called true locals there, is this. Now, how is it that this man, this haole, this so-called outsider, is able to accomplish so much? But I don't, and I've been following this fire thing from day one, once it hit the news. And when I first heard the news, it was hardly any videos on it because it was brand new. I got up early on the 9th, the 9th of August, early in the morning, and I saw these videos. I said, what's going on? Oh my God. They hardly had any videos on it. And then later on that evening, that same evening, the videos were coming out big time. And the world found out. Yeah, so you have an individual. He's not from there, but he lived as a local. You know, he sold real estate. He had children that went to school there. Here, big disaster happens, and everybody's affected there. Um, what happened to the so-called locals? I'm saying this, and some of you may not like it. Uh, so you residents of Hawaii of color, the so-called true um, people of Hawaii, the state of Hawaii, how come you didn't get your camera and your mopeds, whatever, or your vehicles, and go and did what he did? Get your camera, show the neighborhood what happened, interview people. If you're so honest yourself, How come you didn't do it? How come you leave all the heavy stuff for these so-called howlies to bring attention, your plight? I ask myself that. Well, where are you? You know, I mean, you're from there. You're a local. You're a person of color there. You may be a full-blooded Hawaiian. Where are you in this matter? Yes, I did see some videos of people. I think they were Hawaiian. They were singing songs, and their heart was breaking. Yeah, this was early, the first week, and the women did most of the speaking, and then some of the men. So, but you got to ask yourself, um, where were you? Where are you? Why aren't you speaking out for your island? Where are you? You're not an invalid. Why are you acting like come across like, you're an invalid that you need howlies to do the work for you? Where are you? There are a lot of Hawaiians or Pacific Island, because Hawaii has many different ethnic groups. Not everybody in Hawaii are native Hawaiians. In fact, their numbers are very few. You do have people from other islands from the Pacific, like you have a lot of Samoans, Tongans, Fijians, and you have a lot of Asian people. People from China, Philippines, and Japan, and Indonesia. There are many, many of them. There are more Asians there. So not everybody that you see with a suntan or brown are Hawaiians. And you have a lot of whites that are there too, of course. But where are these other people? Where are they? And so it gets me confused. This man is being ragged on, this guy named Eric, who has a YouTube channel. Yes, he's a white dude from the mainland originally, but he lived there for 13 years. He has children there, and he raised almost $1 million that he said in his latest video, and he's trying to get rid of the money to distribute it so he doesn't have to pay the taxes on it. He wants to get rid of it. 30%. The government will immediately take 30% of all that money, and he has to distribute it quickly. And he just lost his job. The company that he worked for, the real estate agency he worked for, fired him and also fired his 19-year-old son. And I think the company got pressured to do it. See, Maui is a very political, even though they say the Aloha State, it's very political. Very, very political. And yes, that's the same state that Obama, also very political, Obama allegedly was from Hawaii, but not from the island of Maui. He was on Oahu. You notice you don't hear anything about Obama in all this? You don't hear it. Why is that? It's a political state. People know everybody, and people cover for one another. And so where are you? Where are you, Hawaii? People of color there. Where are you locals from Hawaii? Why are you relying people from the mainland to do all this stuff for you? You know, one thing with Hawaii that living there, I lived there for a couple of years, many years ago, that in Hawaii, they dumb down the people there. They want to keep them uneducated. Basic education, very basic. Keep them dumb because they only want them to be able to say aloha and mahalo and smile for the tourists. It is a tourist driven economy. Tourist driven economy. A lot of poverty there. I don't know how the people survive there. And many people there have a lot of children. The family I was friends with there, nine each. The patriarchs had nine. The next generation had nine. Oh, God, a lot. And I already told you, one lemon cost me 75 cents when I was there 20 plus years ago. 75 cents for one lemon. I don't know how these people survive. The quality of the food is horrible. Spam, ham, and white rice. Yeah, that make anyone. They're big. They're big bone, really big. They're really, really big there. Their health, I would imagine, is horrible. But it's the culture in general. It's very friendly. I loved a lot of things about Maui. It's bittersweet there. Yeah, a lot of good people there. A lot of good people there. But honey, the evil I experienced there, very political. And so can relate to this guy, Eric, that has this YouTube channel that was raised, according to him, close to $1 million for the people of Maui. And now he's being shit on. Yeah, I realize, you know, when you're good, I mean, when you're good at what you do, again, I don't know him, what's in his heart. And what would you do? What would you do? If you're in a position, you have some smarts, and the locals there kind of don't know what to do, and you're from the U.S. mainland, you have a college degree, you're kind of savvy, and you understand how to use a computer and all that, and you want to raise money for because it is community oriented, the place. It's very, because it's a small place. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody says hello to everybody. What would you do? You're good at what you do. You're raising money. And then someone doesn't like what you're doing. Someone doesn't like you getting too close to the truth, maybe, about what really happened in the fires. Or someone doesn't like that you raising more money than they are. They're very competitive. It is a very, very competitive spirit in Hawaii. Yeah, I did retail there in Hawaii. I initially started out baking. That was my skill. That's why I went there to, because I knew they had a lot of restaurants in Hawaii. I said, hey, maybe I have a chance there to get a job here. I got blacklisted here in my own state of New York. I got blacklisted. And I was frantic. And I had you're one check away from poverty. Because in New York, you one check is for your rent, and the other check is for everything else. And remember, there's taxes. There's taxes on that money. And I just had one more check coming in, and that would be it. That would be all pow. What do I do? So, yeah, I had to abandon my apartment. I told the agent, told him I have to leave. Yeah, I told her up front. I said, I need a job. I can't get a job here. I couldn't get a job in the cooking field, and I couldn't get a job in administration. So I thought, let me go. I heard of Hawaii before, of course. I had a friend of the family whose people are from Maui. They're indigenous from that island. I knew about so I knew about it as a child because that's where she was from. So I said, hey, let me try there. So I got a book. uh, about the different locations. Yeah, he was not from Hawaii. His background was padded. Uh huh. Okay. I know what padded means. I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, the guy was a foreigner. I mean, the guy was from the U.S. mainland. He was a white man from, I think, Colorado originally. He had a wife. He's a white guy, white wife, white kids. The kids were young. Went to school there, graduated, and he got a job in real estate. And in the last interview, he said he did well. I think he did. Yeah, that was another thing. If you're too good, if you do well, you get a lot of jealousies. Um, yeah, so I initially went to Hawaii to cook. Um, I got a job relatively quick, and I rented a room in a house in Lahaina, right in the area that got zapped. And then I got a second job to, uh, to help me get more money. So I was working two jobs at one point there when I first arrived, and I lose both of them the same week, right after the holidays. I had no idea that was coming. So eventually I got a job in really, what do you call it, retail. And it's pretty much, I mean, you get a base salary, you really work on commission, and they didn't want me to make money. Jealousy, jealousy, jealousy. I met this one black dude that was from the mainland. He's from Connecticut. He mixed races, black and white mix. And what I saw, yeah, what I saw, yeah, he became the number one player there. I mean, in sales. They didn't like it, but he's a male, and he knew how to play that. He was very tall and big. He did bouncing, he was a bouncer, so he's not afraid. His size will protect him. He's real tall. He was big, and he did serve at one time as a bouncer. So he knows how to intimidate people. Yeah, he would walk in the room to intimidate people because he knew that they would get him. And they screwed me over uh, also there in retail. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm not going to even get into that. So I could relate to this guy, Eric, that because he said that he was a top performer. And so I understand what that means. And they didn't like it. And now they're using politics. Those people who are, again, I don't know his background or whatever. I don't know his bank account. I don't know anything really about him. Just what is shared on his channel. So the people who are criticizing him, well, what are you doing for the people of Hawaii? I word it like that, the people of Hawaii, rather than Hawaiians, because not everybody in Hawaii are Hawaiians. There are a small number Native Hawaiians. Most people are Asian and white. Those are the two largest groups there. Yes, they do have Native Hawaiians, and many of them are mixed bloods, but they are not the largest. So you can't say, oh, help the Hawaiians, referring to Native Hawaiians. Most people there are not Hawaiian, Native Hawaiian. But what are you doing? People who are criticizing this YouTuber, how much money did you raise? How much money did you give out? How much? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they'll pull you down, and they're like hyenas. And I remember the things that happened to me there. It was very bittersweet. You had some beautiful people there in Hawaii. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. But you had a lot of snakes there. All types. All types of people. and you have someone when his head is up. Remember in Japan that Japanese expression, the person that had his head up the highest, or it could be Chinese, whatever, the one that has the head up the highest get hit first. And I think that his head up was a little bit too high. They didn't like it, and so they want to remove him. And I think they're going to try to set him up, that like implying that he's stealing the money. They want the money. They want the money. So he has to distribute this money quickly. And he said that he had enough and that he wants to, he says he feels like he has to leave, uh, let it settle down, and then come back and sell real estate. Yeah, I think he has to lay low because I understand what it means. I understand um, what it feels like to be run out. I understand. Again, maybe they know something about him. That could be true too. Everything could be true. But I know what it's like to be run out of a location. Oh, yeah, all too well. I know what it's like to be lied on. And I know what it's like to be good at what you do. Now I shared that I was the only one in the state of Hawaii. Either it's the state, I'm not sure whether the exam, it was a civil service exam that I took sometime between 1999 and 2000. Around that time, I took an exam because I arrived in 98 and I lost the job, the two initial jobs in 99. I think were hectic. So I found out that they had civil service exams for cooking, and that was my new trade. And that I was the only one that passed the exam. Now, I don't know. I think it was for the state of Hawaii, but it could have been just for the county. I'm not sure now. But I assumed at that time it was for the state of Hawaii. But it could have been just for the island of Maui that I lived on. It was a civil service exam. And I alone passed that exam. Now, I do not know how many people took the exam. I do not know. I found out by one of the people, like they had 5 jobs available, 5 different locations. And the initial job, the initial place that uh, I did was the elementary school in Lahaina. It was an elementary school by the water, by by the water in Lahaina, and a haole and this dark-skinned lady, and they hated me at first sight. I told you about it last week. They didn't like me, and they made it known that they didn't like me. The haole guy had a can. Yeah, they told me there was just those two and me in the room. They had me sitting in this little tiny chair, and they were eyeballing me. And they said, "We want you to take the exam again, another exam for us." Oh, is that protocol, people? Is that protocol? I'm just asking. I didn't say that to them. I was very naive. This was in sometime between what year was it? It could have been in 99. Maybe it was 99 because the holidays were going to come up. Yeah. Because, yeah, let me tell you about that. So, the Howley guy came up to me because, you had to use a pencil for the exam. And what he did on purpose to me. Here, I'm a veteran, a disabled veteran they did this to. They took a can of pencils and he drops it over my head. You heard me right. He dropped it on top of my head with the pencils and then bends down. Oh, oh, oh. And then he looks under my dress, that fucking idiot. Yeah, this is what happened to me. Took it, dropped it over my head so he could look under my dress. At least that's what he did. Then he hands me the pencil, said, do the exam. I did the exam and I passed it. Fucking idiots. So, excuse my language, I get a little emotional sometimes. See, Maui was bittersweet. Yes, she had beautiful people, but you also have the ugly too. And I'm being honest, and I speak from my heart. So that's what happened. Um, and then they said, well, we're not going to make a decision right now. We'll get back to you. So I think I might have waited 2 days, and I called them. They said, oh, we decided to give the job to somebody else because they were more qualified than you. But anyway, you were overqualified. So how can it be overqualified, but you're hiring someone that's more qualified? Hello? This is what you call hatred. This is the same type of hatred that this guy, Eric, that this YouTuber who sells real estate, people see that people are signing off. People are signing off. Now, why are you signing off? Why are you dropping the line? Because I say about the truth about what happened to me in Hawaii? Hello? Well, this is what I see that? People don't want to hear the truth. People don't want to hear the truth. This is what happened to me. So why are you dropping the watching when I'm getting at the meat of what the people are like there? Yeah, you come back on. Yeah, I speak the truth. Yep, this is what happened to me. This is the politics. When you're considered an outsider, when you are, as my father said, as smart, the N word. Yeah, uh, yeah. I'm a black girl, and I was the only one that passed the exam. Whether it's for the state or the county, I was the only one that passed. They give the job to somebody else who shouldn't have gotten it because they weren't on the list. And then I went to, since I had 5 jobs available, so I said, let me just try the other one. And what happened? Politics happened again, and they intimidated the director, because that's the only person I contacted. I contacted the director of the school system. It was a lady, or I shouldn't call her a lady, and she was horrible to me. She said, because the other guy wanted to hire me. He's a Howley guy. It was at the high school there. Oh, he couldn't hire. Something happened. He says, just drop it. He said, you know, he was getting in trouble because he told me I was the only one on the list. It was a list. He had the list because he's going to try to hire people. He needs people. He going to hire who's on the list. I'm the only one. So I called the director. I said, hey, I need a job. Oh, you're not the only one on the list? Because I put my girlfriend on the list. But she's not on the list. So this is what the Aloha State is all about. Full of corruption. Full of corruption. You're not from there. You're a female. We're out to get you. You're tall and slim. or considered attractive, even from the, oh, we don't want you. But if you're a dude and you're good looking, and, you got money, oh, you can get one of the women. But what if you're a woman and you want to make an honest living? It's the corruption. That is what I'm trying to point to you. That they're not as friendly and aloha when you're perceived. They do not like black people in Hawaii. I'm saying it. They do not like black people, black American. They don't like black people, period. They like your music and they love reggae, but they don't want you there. And when I first arrived on the island, yeah, a haole guy made sure he told me right up front, oh, in the 1970s, they chased out the black people from Hawaii. They chased them out. Why the hell he's telling me that? Why? Yeah, he's letting me know you're not wanted here. See, sometimes people see greatness in other people. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I'm not the worst and I'm not the best. I'm just an individual. I stay in my own lane, especially back then. And I thought I was playing by the rules. Just be quiet, do your little job, and go home. Well, that's not how it worked there in Hawaii. And so, if you're perceived to be a threat, they're going to get you. And I think with the guy Eric, he got too good at what he did, got people jealous, and maybe was exposing what was really behind the fires. Let me tell you about what else. It's interesting. I have to check that video one more time of Eric's, the one that he had it was a T-shirt that he found. These T-shirts that were folded up nicely, and they didn't burn up. I think they were blue in color. Let me tell you why. It's an incidental that I've just found out on several YouTube videos, on one particular YouTube video. As some of you might have noticed, that the fires in Maui didn't burn logically. Certain things got zapped and turned into powder. Even the cars, some of them, the components on it turned into powder. Well, uh, there were videos of things that were blue. Like it was this basket, plastic basket, I think, and these the earnings, that shade the sun out, were blue. And how could something like that, a flimsy material, and it didn't get consumed? Well, when you use DEW, direct energy weapons, it works by frequency. I should have mentioned this early. It works by frequency. And blue is a frequency that this DEW doesn't work on, but it works on everything else. This place was zapped. This place, I think, was zapped by DEW. If I could find that video of, here you have a whole burnt down everything, but a little blue basket and an earning, for the shade, and it was blue. They did an experiment with a DEW device. And they were explaining that it works by frequency, and light, a color is a frequency. And they experimented. They showed different strips of colors of material, different colors. And when it went across the blue one, nothing happened. But everything else, it burnt up. instantly. What happened? What happened? It's just what I thought initially from day one, that this fire was done by direct energy weapons. Too many clues. And I think that these people, the higher ups, management who runs that on is very corrupt. Very, very corrupt. They do anything for monies. And he was getting too deep. And so they had to get rid of him. That's what I think what happened. Yeah, but I hope this information comes out regarding the blue. Yeah, they use direct energy weapons. And gonna sell Lahaina to developers and push out the poor. It is so corrupt. So corrupt, this island. And yeah, it's bittersweet. I wanted it to work when I was there. I really, I got burnt out. I lasted almost 3 years there and left. And I thought it was going to be back. Yeah, I thought it was going to be back. Um, so it'll be interesting what this man would do, this YouTuber. Yeah, you can see the tears in his eye. I feel badly for him. Some things I had concerns regarding certain things, yes, and it could be my biasness, but I'm being upfront about it. Some things I felt uncomfortable about. But everybody else there in Hawaii has the same opportunity. It makes me feel like that they want the whites, the Howleys, the people from the mainland to rescue them. And if they get too good, they poo-poo on them. And that's how I feel. That's how that's what it looks like to me. Get your cameras out there too. Get your YouTube channel and expose what's happening and raise money and give out the stuff. Yeah, you have some good people there who invested their time to get supplies and distribute the goods there. Yes, hardworking, honest people. I guess also the other lesson I learned in this, that if you're a so-called outsider, work with somebody that's considered local. Work together. I think that's what you should do. So it's just really explaining and giving suggestions. I know I'm not a pro. I don't. I'm just talking the top of my head. But I think these are some of the elements that was overlooked, which caused him his position right now. Um, I hope I mean, he's a survivor. I hope the best for him and his family, because again, he got kids, he got to support. He has a mortgage. He has to leave. He has to at least lay low for a while. I feel bad. I feel badly because what it's reminding me of, what happened to me when you are perceived to be an outsider or perceived to be too good, and being the only one on the list who passed the civil service exam. They didn't want me in. I was a threat. And they said, oh, well, we don't know how many kids we're feeding. Oh, we don't know. Oh, during the holidays, we should know how many kids we're feeding. The holidays go, oh, we still don't know how many kids we're feeding. Stupidity. If you don't know, if you're the director of this, the Board of Ed or whatever system they call it there, and you don't know how many kids you're feeding, you got a problem in your head. Yeah. So that's my experience and my thoughts about this YouTuber Howley guy. Got too successful. Maybe who knows what the ins and outs of all this. Again, I don't know him. Never spoke to him. I did write comments on his some of his videos. That's about it. And then I share my experiences and the politics that happens on that island. Yes, very bittersweet. When they don't want you there, they pull you down. And I think maybe he went over his head and got too close to maybe what's really going on the island, and so they want to shut him up. In a nutshell. So thank you again. If you like this content, uh, please give me the thumbs up. Uh, you could, if you want to support the channel, I have a PayPal me account. To do so, just go to my channel, Spirit Journey, and on the top right of the banner of the channel, you will see my PayPal me link. Just click on the link, follow the prompts, and any amount would be greatly appreciated. I thank you in advance. I thank you, Maui, for the love that I did receive there. And I send out love to you from the heart, those beautiful, beautiful individuals that I met on that island who did put a smile on my face. And shame on you who are corrupt to the core. Thank you again, and aloha to you.